Hi, this is Leanna Complete Payroll. Welcome to Payroll Country. Today we're going to be taking a look at ad hoc reporting. Ad hoc reports are reports that you can create that will supplement our extensive library of standard reports. It allows the user to create new reports for employee data, payroll data, or company data. We'll click on the Reports button on the left, and then we'll click on Ad hoc Reports. Here we'll be taken to the menu of our ad hoc report library. So this is a list of all of the ad hoc reports that have previously been created for this company. To create a new report, we're going to click on the Detail tab at the top of the screen. The first step is to click on the green plus at the top of the screen to create a new record. We'll click on the report window with the drop down, and here I'm going to select if my report's going to be using company data, employee data, or payroll data. For this first sample, I'm going to be using employee. Next, I'm going to give my employee report a description, and it can be anything that you would like. I'm going to create a zip code report, so I'm going to name it employee zip code, and then I'll click on the green check marks to save my new report. To customize this report, I'll click on Report Parameters, and I have a new pop-up window. Under the Report Parameters, I have tabs for Columns, Selectees, and Miscellaneous. So under my Columns tab, I have a list of columns giving me 3 standard columns that will appear for each employee report. I can either manipulate this information by editing the column, or I can add or remove columns to this list by clicking the Add button at the bottom or the Delete button. So for instance, maybe I don't want to see my employee code, so I'm going to delete this column. And so I'm left with just last name and first name. To select the column to edit, I'll click on the row highlighting the column title. You can also tell which column is selected by the small black arrow next to the column ID. Over on the right, under Column Property, is where I can further edit or change this column. So I can see that the column type is under Person, column title is last name, and then my column size is 1, which is a default setting. I'm going to go ahead and remove that as it's indicating that it's only 1 character for that column size. I'm going to click on Apply Changes to remove that 1. I'm going to do that as well for my first name column by highlighting the 1 and deleting and clicking Apply Changes. Now to add my third column for my report, I'm going to click on Add Column in the bottom left. And now I need to select the property for my column. So under column type, I have a drop-down window which will list all of the different column types that I can select. Each item in this list represents a different area of the employee information contained in Evolution. Since I want to record a zip code for this report, I'm going to select from my list the person. So you can see that we have an employee item. Employee will cover everything that your employees received from you as the employer. So their start date, their rate of pay, their department, those are the kinds of things that you're going to see under employee. For personal information, I want to go ahead and go to person. This is all the information that your employee came to you with. So their address, their birth date, the city, and of course their zip code. So I'm going to go ahead and click on zip code. When I make that selection, zip code's going to appear in the column title, but I can edit that if I would like. When I'm satisfied with the title, I'm going to click on Apply Changes to commit that to the grid under my list of columns. Lastly, under this Columns tab, I can change the order of my columns using the Move Up and Move Down buttons located at the bottom of this window. Now that I have all of the information I want for my report, I can move on to the other tabs. So if I wanted to select certain employees, I could select them here under my Select Employee tab. If I leave all the boxes blank, my report default will include all employees, but I can always make a different employee selection when running this report from my ad hoc library. Under the Miscellaneous tab, I will be able to select things such as the sort order, the status, and the type of report. So if I want to sort my report by something other than the first column, perhaps the zip code, I could enter in 3 here representing column 3. But I'd like to sort it in the order of the grid, so I'll leave that blank. Under the EE status window, I have the different status codes for my employee. If I leave them all blank, it will include all employees. If I only want to see my active employees, I'll go ahead and just click Active. Finally, I have this window here where it says Print ASCII Result or Print ASCII Result. This is to remain checked if I want this to be a report that will be able to be saved and converted to CSV for an Excel. If I want this to be a paper report, I will uncheck the Print ASCII Result, and now I can run this report in paper format. If I have selected the ASCII result and I want to change the file type, I could select between fixed length and delimited, and then on delimited I can enter in different delimiter qualifiers if I would like. I'm going to go ahead and make this a paper report, so I will uncheck my box and I'm going to click OK. This will take me back to my Detail tab, and my green check mark is lit, so I'll click on the green check and then the small green check. To run my report, I'm going to go to the Browse tab and I'm going to find my report that I've entered. So here is employee zip code, and now in the right hand side of my screen I'll click on Run Report. A pop-up window is going to appear with the same report parameters that we looked at before when we were creating the report. If I'd like to make one-time changes for this report run, I can make edits the same way we set up the report and then click the OK button when done. If I want to run the report with the original settings, I'll just click the OK button now. I'll get my message that my task has been added to the queue, and then I can view my report by clicking down in the very bottom corner, and the report will appear in my view. If I want to run this as an ASCII report, I can go ahead and change that parameter when I run it. I'll click on Run Report. When my report parameters come back up, I'm going to click on the Miscellaneous tab, and I'm going to check the box for Print ASCII Result, and then click OK. Now my task has been added to the queue again, and when I open my report this time by clicking on the View button, I'm going to see just my text. To save this as a CSV file, I'll click on the Save Diskette icon. I'll give my report a name under File Name, and it must end with the extension .csv. Next, under Save as Type, I must change this to All Files. And then I can just save this wherever I would like on my workstation. Once I've saved it as the CSV under All Files, it will then open in Excel for me, and I can continue to manipulate it using the Excel features for sorting and filtering if I'd like. As I mentioned previously, there are two other report types that you can create in ad hoc reports. And when I click on the green plus and drop down my report, I can enter in a company report or a payroll. I can create a company report or a payroll report. If I select company, the report parameters are very similar to that of employee, only we will not have the tab for the employee filter or the employee status on our sorting tab at the end. Other than that, it's the same functionality where we can add or delete columns from our list of columns, and we have a list of column types as we choose them, with lists of items that are specific to our company setup. For an ad hoc payroll report, our parameters are going to look a little bit different because we are going to have more tabs under this window where we can select our grouping and sorting for the payroll information. We also have an employee status here on the first tab of miscellaneous. We do have an employee filter. We have a filter for DBDT, and then we have our columns, just like we did before in our employee and company report setup. The functionality again is the same, where we can add and delete columns, and we can select our column types. Now our column types will be related to our payroll items, meaning you'll see the ED codes, ED groups, hours or amounts, and then also taxes. Ad hoc reporting is an additional feature to your standard username setup. If you're interested, please let your customer service rep know. And while ad hoc reports is a great way to supplement your standard report library and create custom reports on your own, it can take a little practice to learn. We have written procedures available for you that your customer service rep can provide, and please remember that we also offer complimentary training. If you're interested in a report focused training, please let your customer service rep know. In addition, all of our CSRs are able to write ad hoc reports for you upon request. Thank you for joining me and have a great day.